Hey guys, coming to you from the hay shed, and this is something I've been pondering on last little bit. I get I get real nostalgic sometimes, and I'm sure it's happened to you before, where you smell something and it just takes you back. And hay is one of those things. So uh, when I was little, up until about the mid '90s, um, we had cattle out here, and the lower fields were cut for hay. And I remember a summer where my brother and I were big enough that we went out and helped toss the hay bales onto onto the trailer, and then help stack them in the barn down below. And it's just amazing. Like, I had not thought about that in I don't know how long. Only in passing, and we're getting ready for some more hay to be brought out here in a little bit, and I wanted to share this while it was on my mind. So it's really interesting how things come full circle in some instances. You know, when I was finishing up high school and I was looking at going to college, I was on this track of I wanted to be an investigative reporter. I thought I was uh, I was influenced by my grandmother, which was fine, which was a good thing, and by my great grandmother, who was a writer and a historian. And it was kind of a big deal to uh, to be going to college and kind of creating that uh, modern lifestyle, I guess you would say. Nobody would have thought the first thing about me going to college for however long, getting getting a good paying job, as they say, getting a big house and all that kind of stuff. Um, but that is not the direction that I went in. And that's not to say that I couldn't have, or I wouldn't have been happy. It simply would have been different. But, I'm sitting on this farm now that has been in my family since the early 1930s, and I am the two, three. I will be the fourth generation Brown to be on this farm, and that's how I want it to be. It's a lot different now. We don't have as much land as we used to for a variety of reasons I don't need to get into right now because it's irrelevant and unchangeable. But we do have what we have, and I get to share it with people. I get to explore it every day. I get to run animals on it, return the animals back into the land, and help restore some of the ecosystem here, and learn while doing it, and share with you guys while doing it. And I just have one of those moments of just feeling really grateful and really at peace, because, as I've been known to mention, wintertime is hard for me. I don't do well with a lack of sunshine. It's dreary today. The sun was supposed to come out and it hasn't. But I still got to get hay to the animals, and I still have to look after things. So that's a huge motivation right there. Right now I'm looking at a tree line that's on the southern edge of the parcel that we're on, and it's got these cedars that are along one of the last kind of remaining barbed wire fence lines, um, most of which probably my great grandfather planted, as far as I can tell. Um, Big old beautiful cedars, and I know a lot of people who get into like habitat management and different things, like they don't want cedars around, but I love them. They provide so much cover for the wildlife. We've got ones here that just put off absolutely copious amounts of juniper berries. Um, just it's just awesome. And then somewhere in the midst of all this really large pin oak is up. It's a big old tree. We've actually got two right here in my sight line. There's some other stuff in here that isn't as ideal, that I just kind of gradually carve out and turn into other forms of carbon. Mostly the calorie pear is my favorite. But anyway, I just wanted to kind of think about. I do think about how it used to be. And sometimes I'm sad that it's changed, even though it really wasn't anybody's fault that anything changed. Circumstances happen, lifestyles change, and I wasn't in a spot to be out here the past 25 years to be doing all this, and frankly, I'm not sure I would have known what I was doing then anyhow. So, at least not, prior to 10 years ago. 10 years ago, I started thinking about coming back out here, actually, because I was out on the property, several days a week over a period of about 4 years, taking care of my grandmother, helping to take care of my grandmother before she passed away. And so I was out here. I didn't get to explore this edge where we're at now as much. I was pretty much just at her house and in that immediate yard area. But it started that reconnection process. So when I look around here, I think about not just what can I do for the ecosystem and everything that lives here and everything that could live here, but I really think about my ancestry, honoring their decisions. I mean, I think about the fact that we have this land because my great-grandfather exchanged a certain amount of his money, which is also life energy, it's just a representation of life energy, to obtain it in a time where the economy was crap. Sounds familiar. And he knew that land could equal wealth, and it would equal wealth for his offspring and his grandchildren and great-grandchildren. And here we are. And while I may have a giant McMansion subdivision across the street, no hate to you guys who live in subdivisions. I've got some great customers in subdivisions where I'm helping them transform their yards. And we've got these big inexpensive, or I should say not inexpensive, the opposite of inexpensive, apartments on the other side. But you know what? Those are just people living their lives too. They're just doing the best they can for the most part. And the ones that have balconies that face us, I kind of wonder if they look up here and think, what in the world are those people up to? Who knows? So I guess I'll stop yapping for a little bit and finish getting ready for this hay. And I go run some mineral down to the sheep and top off their water. I've been emptying their water at night because it's just freezing. It's just freezing, and it stresses out the tank. So I just top their water off in the morning and then hit it again in the afternoon. And I'm just going to continue to be mindful and aware and enjoy this enormous blessing that I've got. I hope you guys are looking for the blessings in your life as we get into this new year. And if you have thoughts or questions or anything I can help you with, comments are great, and I actually did figure out how to see the comments on the back end of YouTube. And but if you really want to have a conversation, email is where it's at. That's something I never fail to check, and I'm always pretty good about responding to people at strongrootsresources@gmail.com. And man, it's really warm in this haystack. I mean, I'm out of the wind in this little shed, and sometimes I think about setting a little pallet out here at night with a little headlamp and a book and no phone, and seeing if I can remember what it was like to be a little kid when I would do something pretty similar when I was 10 or 11 years old. So that's the thought for now. Y'all have a good one.